There are tons of business podcasts to choose from, but only one has the stamp of approval. Kristin Stampini is South Florida's leading real estate entrepreneur and your trusted source for everything real estate.
Hi, I would like to welcome my listeners and thank you for joining us today for another episode of my podcast, The Stamp of Approval. I'm Kristin Stampini, co-founder of the Stampini Platinum Real Estate Group with RE/MAX in Boca Raton, Florida. I'm also a certified real estate coach with Craig Proctor and the owner of Global Virtual Real Estate Assistants. You may have heard us on the radio. I'm a real estate investor, a national trainer and public speaker, and a certified inside sales agent trainer. The Stamp of Approval podcast was launched to share and educate other realtors, consumers, and other business owners across North America by sharing value and content to my listeners in each and every episode, as well as share my experiences, also my triumphs and failures, and strengths throughout my entire life with the hope of my audience being able to expand their knowledge of everything real estate, business, sales, and mindset oriented. So today I'm so excited to have Tracy King, Kings of Real Estate, out of Saraville, Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, in Knoxville. And he has 12 years of real estate sales experience and real estate investing. He's going to close nearly 500 transactions this year with his team. He's sold over 2,000 properties, many of those being investment properties, and over 300 million in real estate sales. Wow. So his previous career was in the steel service center industry, and he actually grew that company from $900,000 annual sales to over 10 million annual sales in 5 years. So you know he has an amazing business background. He's also the husband to his business partner, Kris King, who's also a good friend of mine, and he's been married to her for 16 years and counting. Kris and Tracy, between themselves, they have 5 children, and also they have 13 grandchildren. Tracy's, his big why is to impact others to prosper, which is an amazing thing. And today, Tracy and I are going to be talking about team culture. Tracy had to rebuild his entire team a couple years ago, and doing 500 transactions this year can tell you that he's doing amazing. And to be able to build that team culture and how he's done that in building the culture around building culture around his business and how he hires is what we're going to talk about. And Tracy, welcome.
Hey, welcome. Hey, thanks for having me. It's great to be a part of this.
I'm so excited to have you. Thanks for joining us. So, Tracy, I really want you to kind of get into, go back to a few years ago, and tell us what your culture, your team looked like itself, what your culture looked like, and what happened, for you to learn and to grow. And now, how well you're doing today because of your culture. Because there's so many of our listeners out there that are having the same issues that you had previous and are trying to figure out how to build an amazing culture like you have.
Well, thanks. Hey, so it's not as hard as it seems like. You just have to get your head wrapped around it. Really, the culture is basically who you are as a person, as a leader. Really, what do you want it to look like? Who do you want to work with? And that's really, even though you could be the owner of the company, who do you want to spend time with? Who do you want to pour yourself into? What does that look like? You kind of define that, and then you build around that. Ours is more of people that we want to deal with or build around, life around, and pour ourselves into, are people who are givers, people who like to give back, people who like to they're hungry, but they have a driven internal drive within themselves to they want to see other people prosper, not just themselves. I think Zig Ziglar said it best when he said, you help someone get what they want. Everything else that you're going to need, your needs are going to be met, something like that. But
that's right. So, I live by that myself, and it's so true.
Yes, right.
So tell me, where a few years ago, what did your culture look like, or did you even hire around culture at all at that time?
No, we really, what was funny is our mission and vision statement, we copied it from somebody. I can't even remember. What even ours? We just copied something. So anyway, that didn't work. I don't suggest that. I think that you need to spend some time thinking about it. So we weren't. We didn't have a culture really set in place. We didn't have a mission and vision statement in place. We was just kind of running and gunning. And Chris and I were both working in the business quite a bit, so that was part of the problem. We were so in the business that we didn't have to take the time to think. But it wasn't going well. We were hiring.
So how
people.
were you just interviewing and just saying, hey, if you want to work for me, we'll hire you? Is that what you were doing?
Pretty much. I mean, we were looking at people like other real estate agents who were we knew out in the marketplace that we thought would make a good fit or that we liked. And that didn't work.
And then what happened? So tell us your failure. I mean, what happened then? Did a bunch left at the same time, right?
As we started growing. Yeah.
So
we had 60% of the team leave.
Like all at the same time, correct?
All at the same time, yes.
And you freaked out at first, like most of us would, and go, oh my gosh, what am I going to do?
Yeah. It's kind of like a punch in the gut, and you're kind of trying to catch your breath.
And then you take it personal, right? And it's just like, oh my gosh, I thought we were doing a good job, and they left, and why?
Yeah. So, you take it personal, and you kind of beat yourself up, and you kind of figure out, what I do wrong, and then you go through that whole series of, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. I don't know if I want to repeat that, So.
And how long ago was that? Because it wasn't even that long ago.
About maybe 3 years, maybe. I think it was about 3 years ago.
And 3 years ago, how many transactions, real estate transactions were you doing at that time?
Oh, somewhere around 230, I think.
Which is still amazing because the average agent does just a couple a year, depending on where you're located, between 2 and maybe 8 a year. So to do 220 was still great. But then, losing, 40% of your team and having to start over, what did you do? What did that look like? So you and Chris got together, and is at that time you decided that you wanted to create your own vision and mission statement and core values, or what?
Yeah, well, we started figuring out, our coach told us, hey, you need to, you guys need to think about your core values, how you want, what you want it to look like. So we started doing that. We put together a mission and vision statement, and then we decided, okay, we're going to hire around our core values and our mission and vision statement. And then that's how we started working that. We ran people through the DISC personality profile systems and then started really learning who we're looking for. We slowed it down. We didn't do it real fast. We took our time, and we started making some good choices and started building a team. Then we kind of got a good feel now, so we can scale it up pretty quick now. We kind of know what we're looking for.
And okay, so a lot of people ask me, Kristin, where do I find on how to figure out my core values and our mission statement and our vision when we're, building a business? So what did you do to help you find, or what process did you take to build that?
Well, that's an interesting question, because what Chris and I did, we hired a friend of ours who's also a business life coach. He's a life coach, business coach. And we just sat down with him, and he just started asking questions about, I wish I could remember the questions. They're really good, but like just kind of digging into like, okay, what's important to you? Well, we want to have people who have character, integrity. We want high standards. We want to impact others to prosper. And so we started talking about our mission and vision statement. So our statements are like,
yeah. Do you have them? Can you share those with us? Like, what are your core values and your vision and your mission?
Yeah. So we have our vision statement is impacting others to prosper. And, you know, Chris and I are people of faith, and it's based upon 3 John 1 and 2. And it says, I pray that in all things you may prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. So impacting others to prosper, not just by financially, but in all areas of life. And our mission statement is providing clients with wow service. And we ask ourselves, how will we wow? And then another part of it is elevating team members to prosper personally and professionally. And who will you elevate? The last part is inspiring others to give of themselves. What will you give?
Wow, that's
So,
awesome. And core values, what?
well, core values are just character, integrity, people who are givers, not just takers.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of people we look for. People who have an internal drive. You know, I don't want to be a cheerleader. I mean, I'll cheer you on and pat you on the back, but I want you to have that internal drive. That you're a go-getter person.
Right, right. And so now walk me through real quick, because so many people are impacted and, really are looking to grow their businesses. It can be real estate or any business, really. So so tell us, over the next couple minutes, tell us where you look, what kind of, what kind of, ad that you run, and then what is your process of hiring?
Okay, so in real estate, for me, I kind of look at it. I like football, American football. So I look at it and okay, if you're looking at it, if you're the general manager, you're out there drafting, and looking at players you want to draft on your team, and you have to identify first, okay, what's some key positions that I need to fill in my team? What are they? In football, they could say, it's quarterback, or I need some offensive lineman, or whatever. In real estate, we're looking for, do I need an admin person, and what type of admin, or do I need an inside sales agent, or do I need what we call an outside sales agent, a real estate agent? And so I need to identify who I need on my team, and then how I go about drafting them. But basically is, I use a company called Wise Hire, and I place all my ads there and run ads that will attract salespeople that they're used to commission type basis, or they want to move into that world of real estate of just commission type base. We also run our ads for the inside sales agents there. Every position in my company, I run ads there at WiseHire. And then we have I call it a filtering system. So one is, to apply for our team, you have to go through the WiseHire ad and apply for the job and submit a resume. Then we'll take a look at the resume, and we take a look at your DISC personality test, and we just kind of see from there how we think you're going to measure up. And if we feel like you're someone that would fit our team, then we set up a interview process. And the interview process starts with a panel. I'm not on the panel. Chris isn't on the panel. The panel is set up with my top team leaders. They'll do the process. They know what we're looking for. And if that person passes them and they say, yes, you need to interview this person for that job, then I'll take it, excuse me, and I'll do the interview. And then after I interview, I talk to the panel, and we talk about if this person is the right fit or not.
So you have a full process and system.
Yes.
And even the key thing that you're looking for first is that they're going to fit in with, besides the DISC personality, that they're going to fit in with your core values and really fulfill the culture of your team.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's huge, right? So
yeah.
when you had to start over 3 years ago or so, and you had to do all this, and you're like, oh my gosh, but this has made you step back and now grow a team where you've more than doubled in 3 years.
Yeah, it made us step back and put a process and a system in place to help find the people, the best people to put on our team in the right position. It was really important.
Well, I'm going to say that I went and had, first of all, the pleasure of spending the day, with Tracy and Chris a couple months ago in their team. And, spending the day in their office was amazing, but also spending the day with their team and, being able to, I actually did a session with their team on buyers and taught them, some things on buyers. But I'll tell you what, the culture of your team, that was a big, awesome family that wanted to help each other, that wanted to see each other succeed. And that was one of the strongest cultures I've ever seen. Okay, so you have done an awesome, awesome job. So just give a couple of tips here while we're closing up this episode of team culture, of a couple things that they can take away and that they can, the people who are listening can go into their own business and look at, and then a couple things that they can implement immediately into their hiring process of their team.
Well, I think the first thing, of course, you need to set up your core values in your mission and vision statement. And it's okay to rewrite it, because that's what we did. And then I think you need to set up a process of, okay, how am I going to go find the people that I want, and set that process up. For me, I used WiseHire, and we ran certain ads on it, and we tested different ads to find out which ones worked the best. And then I think you need to have I call it a filtering system, a panel of people, of maybe your top key people involved in meeting with these people before you do. And then you're the last person they meet with. So, you'll find that your key leadership, they're really good about figuring out if the person's going to, fit in well with the team, if they have the skill, ability, and all those things. You'll find that they're really capable people.
Okay. Well, yeah, go ahead.
I think that's it. And then I think there's a series of questions you need to have that you're asking that really I call it peel the onion back on the people. Just really want to get down to to who they are. You just have to ask. You just got to figure out what those questions are that you want. And so one of my favorite questions I ask that really stump people is I'll say, "Tell me why I should not hire you."
Oh, I like that one. Yeah,
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Hire you.
How did you create those questions?
Had people just over time, I've actually had someone tell me that why I should not hire them, and they were right. It was funny. But no, just sit back and ask questions. You just got to think about some of the questions you need to ask, like, okay, what motivates you? I want to know what motivates somebody. What's their ultimate career aspirations? All right. So if their ultimate career aspirations is to be a nurse, then why are they applying to be a real estate person?
That's another good question. Yeah. What else? What other? Give me a couple more.
A couple more I like is, what other companies are you interviewing? I want to know who else they're interviewing with. Let's see. In my world, in the sales world, I'll ask them a question. Hey, what's your least favorite part of the sales process?
That's another good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, I think that you've really given some people, the step-by-step process of really figuring out what their culture and their vision and their mission is for themselves and what they want to build around, and that failure is okay, because we learn, we pick ourselves up, and, failing forward, because we're going to do that always, right? And what we really need to do to build a culture, a team around our culture in whatever business you're in. And I really appreciate you sharing that today. So, Tracy, tell us where our listeners can, first of all, what areas, where you sell real estate, your team, and how they can reach out to you if they have, any further questions, and also if they have any referrals for your area.
Okay, great. Love to do that. We sell in the East Tennessee area. We have an office in Knoxville, Tennessee. The home's that's where this University of Tennessee is located. We have an office in what is called Sevierville. That's in the Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge area, Great Smoky Mountains. We sell investment properties in that area. We sell a lot of rental income producing type properties. I think we have some of probably the best cash flow ROI properties in the country. So if anybody's interested in talking to us, they can reach me at 865-365-2280.
Okay. And also, what's your website?
My website is kingsofrealestate.com.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much, Tracy. Appreciate it today. And anybody who is struggling with culture and everything else, this is such a great episode to listen to and to go back to. And thank you, Tracy.